On day 1, I spawned in the world of One Piece as Luffy, and I have 3 main goals in mind. Number 1, get as strong as I could in these 100 days. Number 2, find the Gum Gum Fruit. And number 3, unlock all the gears, including Gear 5. I then start off by exploring the buildings of Fuchsia Village to see what I can scrap to use before my big adventure ahead of me, and I just snagged a quick bed out of one of the buildings. I then stumbled upon a pirate trader that looked like Ace, and he was selling cannonballs, bows, and a Kuma shirt, and things that will not be really useful for me. Afterwards, I take my wooden sword to finish off this pig to make sure I have some food for this journey. I start heading towards the front of the island where the big ship is. I then see a chest with a sign above it stating free stuff, and it had pretty good starter gear for me like a boat, sword, boots, and more. I then start heading towards the dock to place my boat down and finally start my adventure of getting the Gum Gum Fruit. On day 3, I finally arrived at Alvida's ship. I went ahead and searched every single inch of the ship but found nothing, so I went and got on my boat to head towards the land where I saw some buildings and people there. Next to these 2 buildings, I found 2 chests, and I was hesitant to look inside because it seemed like there were people chasing me. I just YOLO'd it and checked inside the chest, and the second I got out of that chest, I started getting attacked. I ran all the way back as far as I could to equip my stronger sword, but by the time I got back, these 2 were fighting each other, which was perfect for me. The last one left was low HP, so I took him out with only 3 slashes. I started putting on some gear I got from the chest, but then I started getting swarmed by a bunch of bandits and was getting damaged way too much and only had 7 hearts, so I started running as fast as I could. Once I healed up, I made a full circle back to take whatever else I needed in that chest. I then went inside one of the buildings and found Alvida there. She was selling her hat, a mace, and a barrel. All the things we do not need. I then head out, whooped the marine real quick, and finally left the island. On day 6, I finally arrived to Shelltown, so I made my way up the ladder onto the dock. I then spot a sign stating Shelltown is now under marine protection. I start heading toward the back of Shelltown and spot a huge blue building with 2 cannons in the front. I see 2 chests near the front, and inside one of them was some berries, random blocks, and a sword. In the second chest was a lot of wanted posters with some handcuffs, donuts, and weapons. I go on to explore the building on the left, but nothing was inside, so I make my way from the top to the bottom so I can go and check out the next building. I start checking out all the rooms one by one. The most I found was a room full of beds, but nothing that really caught my attention. Since I found nothing, I started heading towards the dock so I can continue on my adventure on my little boat. On day 8, I quickly stopped by a pirate ship to steal some loot, but out of nowhere, a pirate and a pirate captain started attacking me. So I ran out of there as fast as I could and whipped out my boat and started dipping. On day 11, I arrived to this pretty looking island. I kept exploring and a building made out of lapis blocks caught my attention. When I went inside the building, there was a chest and it had the Gum Gum Fruit, the main thing we have been looking for all along, and finally we can eat it. I went straight to Chowtown, but after eating it, I didn't feel any different. I then opened up my abilities tab and see all the moves we have, including the gears. I wanted to test out my passive ability, so I built really high up to see if I will really bounce. And yes, it actually works. I check out all the gears and we need to learn full body hardening hockey in order to get gear 4. I began testing out my moves, starting with the Gomu Gomu no pistol and then the Gomu Gomu no Gatling, and oh my god, this move looks way better than the last one. I then follow up with Gomu Gomu no bazooka and then lastly Gomu Gomu no rocket. I finally test out gear 2 and it surrounds my whole body with red aura and makes me way faster and my moves do way more damage. On day 14, I arrived in Orangetown and there was a bunch of walls surrounding the buildings, so I used some blocks to build over and get into the compound. I was running around Orangetown and I spotted a wanted poster for someone named Jas with an almost $1.5 million berry bounty. I continued searching the rest of Orangetown, going building by building, and found one with a pirate trader inside. This pirate trader was selling a bunch of food, and since I had some berry, I splurged out on as much Sea King as I could buy. I head toward the biggest building I see and take the stairs. When I arrive to the top, I see some wanted posters along with Buggy the Clown. I check out what he is offering to sell, but basically it's all of his clothing along with a Devil Fruit encyclopedia, which we do not need anymore as we have the Gum Gum Fruit now. So that was my cue to start heading out and jump off the building. Night came, and when I was looking in the sky, I spotted something floating in the air, so I decided to start building up towards it. When I finally got up here, there was a campfire lit up with a bed and some chests. When I looked inside the chest, I found 2 Devil Fruits. One was the Bane Bane no Mi fruit, and the second one was the Com Com no Mi fruit. Inside the other chest though, holy cow, it was stacked with food, diamonds, so much iron, and other rare gems. I took everything I needed and jumped off from this mysterious floating land, then went straight towards the water to hop on my boat and move on to the next island. On day 17, I finally arrived at Syrup Village to my boys Usopp's hometown. When I got on land, I got greeted by a wandering trader and a llama, so I just checked out what they were offering before moving along. I wanted to get onto that ship, but since eating a devil fruit, I can't swim now, so I slowly built over to that ship. Once on it, I explored every room, searching every chest, trying to find something. I found nothing until I broke down and found Nami's chest with so many berries. I kept on searching for more and found a chest with so many diamond boots, but it's basically useless for me to take more than one. Night came and I couldn't find anything else, so I started heading inside Syrup Village. I started hearing noises, and out of nowhere a phantom started attacking me, so I used my Gomu Gomu no Gatling, but that wasn't enough, so I finished him off with my Gomu Gomu no Bazooka. I head deeper inside Syrup Village and stumble upon Usopp's girl's house with him right outside. Usopp was selling all of his clothing with his slingshot, but we won't be needing anything he's selling. I checked inside both of the chests that were outside, and the first one just had a bunch of random blocks, but the second one had some berry, Usopp's slingshot, and the ammo for it. But the thing I'll be using is that mini Mary. I then head inside, scouting the whole building, but found nothing, so I ran all the way back towards the water to head out of Syrup Village on my new mini Mary. On day 20, I arrived at Sanji's restaurant. Once I got on board the ship, I headed inside the restaurant in search for Sanji. I finally found Sanji and checked what he would be selling. He was selling a bunch of food, all of his clothing, and a cigar, but we didn't need any of that, so I started to head upstairs. I checked all of the fridges and storage for some food or any type of loot. I found nothing, so I went all the way on top of the ship and found the main chef. He was selling way more food than even Sanji. When I checked inside of the chest, oh my god, there was legit unlimited food, and I would never have to worry about being hungry again. I then took all the food and berries that I could take and started heading out front to go back on my mini Mary to explore the rest of the sea. On day 23, I finally arrived at the one and only Arlong Park. I build up to go over the gates and slowly make my way across to the front. When I get to the front, I see a sign stating Captain Kruger is now under control. Inside, I find a totem of Undying, and this will become very useful. I search the rest of the building to find some loot and eventually stumble upon a chest with some berries and random blocks, and another chest with seeking me and some more berries. I start making my way toward the village and get greeted by two chests, and inside of them were a bunch of random blocks, but the main thing both these chests had were berries. I started checking every building but found nothing until I came across Nami's house, cause her staff was literally sticking right out of it. I then checked to see what she was selling, and it was nothing interesting, just some oranges and her staff. I checked all the chests inside of her house, and it was just a bunch of orange themed food. Night came and I spotted Arlong in the village and started right away with the Gomu Gomu no pistol. He started charging me fast, so I used my Gomu Gomu no Gatling, and before he could hit me, I used my Gomu Gomu no rocket to escape. I then activated Gear 2 because my moves weren't doing enough damage, and followed quickly with a slingshot and Gatling. I then swiftly used Gomu Gomu no rocket to take cover. I dropped back down to charge Arlong with my Gomu Gomu no Gatling, and one hit from his sword took out all my hearts, but because I had a totem of Undying, I got saved, and I quickly used my rocket move to escape. I came back and finished Arlong with a Gomu Gomu no Bazooka. After finishing, I decided to take my leave from Arlong Park and head on to the next place. On day 26, I finally arrived at Logue Town, and there was a huge wall covering everything, so I used my rocket move to fling over that gigantic wall. I was exploring everywhere so long that night came, and I was using my Gomu Gomu no rocket to travel around faster, and eventually I stumbled upon a place where there was craters and little wooden shacks. The first one just offered food, nothing that we really needed. The next trader though, oh my god, he legit offered my whole outfit, but it was armored, so it would actually help out a lot. So I put those bad boys on, and bam, my hat looks way longer and better now. I went to another shack and it was Smoker. Since I was a pirate, he would not sell or even talk to me. I tried whooping this boy because of that, but it wasn't working, so I used my Gatling, but it still wasn't working. He got really lucky because he would have been toast otherwise. Just to go down memory lane, I flinged up towards where the last king of pirates got executed, just to see what he saw right before his final moments. I later found some chests with random blocks for the 100 times and quite a few berries. On day 27, I came across a beautiful island filled with purple trees, and inside one of the buildings was a dojo sensei, and when talking to him, he offers hockey training but told me I'm not strong enough yet, so I need to keep getting stronger. I head towards the water to get on my mini Mary and leave to the next place. On day 30, I arrive at Whiskey Peak and use my Gomu Gomu no rocket to move around. I checked out some buildings, but it was pretty much just empty. I got bored, so I went to the top of a building and placed a bunch of TNT on top of it just to see some explosions. When trying to leave Whiskey Peak, I got stopped by some bandits, so I used Gomu Gomu no Gatling to stop the first one and my rocket move for the last one. I then got on my Mini Mary and sailed right out of there. On day 33, I arrived at Little Garden, and to get towards the center, I had to get through a bunch of trees and land, so I used my rocket move to travel fast. I finally got to the center and got greeted by 2 chests, and one had a trader egg with some berry and golden keys. I placed down the pirate trader to see what he would sell, and it was just a bunch of random weapons that I wouldn't need, but I saw a pirate captain cape and just got it for the fun of it. So right after that, I just took off on my Mini Mary. On day 36, I arrived to Drum Island, and I kept using my Gomu Gomu no rocket to try and go to the top of the building. I kept on spamming it till I could reach the top, and I finally did. I entered in the building and looked around the first floor but found nothing, so I headed straight upstairs. It's the next day, and inside the first chest was a bunch of uncraftable potions, some of Chopper's gear, berries, and a green egg. And in the second chest was a bunch of food with some berries. I went ahead and put on Chopper's hat while I'm at Drum Island just to represent my boy in the time being. I then went ahead and placed that green egg I got, and a giant built bunny started attacking me. I start with Gomu Gomu no Gatling, followed along with Gomu Gomu no pistol, and he flew in the air. I finished him off afterwards with just a couple regular punches because of how much I damaged him earlier. I headed outside and used Gomu Gomu no rocket to flee towards a tree. Once on ground level, I whipped my Mini Mary out and headed off the island. On day 40, I finally arrived to Alabasta. I was running all day, and when night came, I activated Gear 2 to run as fast as I could into that building. When I went to the bottom floor of the building, I activated Gear 3 and used Gomu Gomu no Gatling, and my fist did so much more damage, it was insane. But there was a big toll on my body for a while. There was a lot more enemies around, but I used Gear 2 to run towards the chest quickly, and inside one of the chests was 10 golden apples, berries, and Crocodile's coat, and in the second chest, a lot more berries, bananas, and other random stuff. I went up to Crocodile to see what he was selling, and it was his coat, hook, devil fruit encyclopedia, and many other stuff. I copped the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia since I was low-key ballin'. I then used Gear 2 to dip out of there so fast to continue on my adventure. On day 43, I arrived to Jaya. I immediately got off my Mini Mary to go and explore all the buildings. They all had nothing in them, so I headed towards the front and spotted some chests. The first one had a diamond armor chest plate, Sea King meat, and of course some berries. I then stumbled upon Bellamy and see what he had to offer, and it was just a bunch of his clothes and other stuff we have already seen. The other chest was pretty junk other than the 2,000 berries and some pies. Since I already searched all of Jaya, it was my time to depart, so I flung out of there right onto my Mini Mary, ready to become the king of pirates. On day 46, I arrived to Rusikiana, and this will be a very important time for me. I will be spending a very long time here to train and learn all the hockey I could along with Gear 4. The next time you guys see me, I will become very stronger and hopefully put me one step closer to achieving my final goal, Gear 5. It is now 17 days later, and finally, I have unlocked full body hardening hockey. And now for the new gear I unlock. Bam! Gear 4. I'm basically a fat balloon that can fly now, and my moves are way stronger in this gear. When I use Gomu Gomu no Gatling in Gear 4, my fists are so explosive and deal so much damage, it's insane. I then activated Gear 2 to go and run off the island and head on to the next one. On day 66, I arrived to Skypiea. The way to enter in was kinda weird, but as soon as I clicked the button, I got sent to what looked like Skypiea. I then went on my Mini Mary and started sailing ahead. On my journey, there was a very strong current, and it took me a really long time to go over it, but I eventually did. I then stumbled upon another teleporter which took me even further up into Skypiea. I then activated Gear 2 so I could run and explore around Skypiea way faster. I finally stumbled upon something that looked like the Skypiea village. I searched a couple nearby chests and found nothing, and also checked inside the building. In the center of the village, I found 2 chests, and one of them had a bunch of dials along with a Skypiean civilian spawner. I then just went ahead and placed one of them down just to get the vibe of these guys. Inside the second chest was 16 civilian eggs along with berries and a Skypiean trader. I placed down the Skypiean trader to see what I can buy off him, and he was selling 3 dials, but holy, the prices on those things were insane. 13. I tested out the explosive dial I got from the chest, and it was like an OP version of TNT. Right after, I activated Gear 2 yet again to start dipping to explore more of Skypiea. I got stopped by some mobs, so I went into Gear 4 and used Gomu Gomu no Gatling and legit destroyed every single one of those mobs with ease. I went back into Gear 2 to start running towards the tunnels. I picked the tunnel all the way to the right and just kept on running without even looking back once. I ended up finding a ship in the middle of nowhere, so I used Gomu Gomu no Rocket to head up on it. I searched most chests on board but found nothing. I then went into Gear 4 and used Gomu Gomu no Gatling to destroy most of the ship. Deeper inside the ship was some loot, but the first chest had coals and bones. The other chest had diamond boots, which were not needed, and everything else was empty. Right when I got off the ship, I went straight back into Gear 2 to start exploring even more. I eventually stumbled upon something in the air, so I used Gomu Gomu no Rocket to help me climb it. I found a building with an open roof, and inside was a chest with some random blocks yet again, some dials, and 5,000 berries. And in the second chest, 15,000 berries. I then head a little bit down and spot a floating ship. Because of how OP my Gomu Gomu no Rocket move is to travel, I used it twice to get onto that ship. Once on the ship, I used Gear 2 to run inside and explore the ship. I eventually came to a dead end, so I activated Gear 4 and used Gomu Gomu no Gatling to blow my way through the ship. I then immediately switched to Gear 2 and went all the way down into the ship, and there was so much mobs, so I just kept trying to damage them, but I forgot Gear 2 isn't nearly as strong as Gear 4. I tried escaping as quick as I could and used Gomu Gomu no Rocket so I don't fall all the way down. I ran as fast as I could and jumped off the ship to go to this mysterious floating thing and used Gomu Gomu no Rocket to hang on. But once on this golden looking island, there was nothing, so I charged my Gear 2 run boost and jumped off. On day 69, I arrived to Annie's lobby, and there was a sign stating, "Leave now, this is a restricted area." But I still entered through the doors anyways. Once I was there, I saw some enemies, so I activated my body hardening along with Gear 4 and went ham with my Gomu Gomu no Gatling. I kept at it for a while and destroyed every single enemy in that localized area. I then switched to Gear 2 while having full body hardening hockey activated and went ham with even more Gomu Gomu no Gatling. I used Gomu Gomu no Rocket to fly up past the second wall and kept on moving forward until I had to jump down. I used my rocket move again to finally make it over towards the main building, but almost didn't make it, but thank God I was thinking fast and whipped out an ender pearl and made it down safely. Upon entering the building, I saw stairs that looked like they were going up forever, so I used Gomu Gomu no Rocket to fly by all the stairs and go to the top super quickly. I checked inside the chest and they actually have some pretty cool stuff and 8,000 berries. In the other chest, oh my god, we legit have unlimited Sea King meat, which is the best food I can eat and will restore my health super quickly along with a garp boat. I head outside when the sun starts setting so I can start to leave Annie's lobby to continue on my adventure. On day 72, I was at Thriller Bark and I spotted Mihawk there. I tried using my Gomu Gomu no pistol a couple times to catch his attention, but nothing. I used Gear 2 to run towards him quickly, but got super scared and started running away from him because one hit from him would have legit ended the whole challenge and he for sure would have killed me. I then got onto my garp boat to leave Thriller Bark. After 28 days have passed, we have finally reached day 100. Throughout this time, I've been intensely training day and night from sunset to sunrise. All of this effort has led me to this ultimate achievement, unlocking the unique one and only Gear 5. Putting my newfound abilities to the test against Arlong, I employed only one move, the Gomu Gomu no Gatling. With astonishing ease, I swiftly ended him using just this one move. Keep in mind, I also have full body hardening hockey activated. I then wanted to test my powers out against Captain Kuro, and right after I placed him down, I tried to find him, but he was literally invisible. After receiving one hit from him, half my hearts disappeared, and I tried running so fast to chow down a piece of Sea King meat, and